Are you sick of having to pee all the time during pregnancy? If so, this video is for you. If you're pregnant and new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and press the bell button below so you don't miss any of my pelvic floor tips for an empowering birth and postpartum recovery. Having to pee all the time during pregnancy can be very frustrating because you can't get anything done and go anywhere without looking for a washroom. Am I right? The urinary frequency in a non-pregnant individual should be every 3 to 4 hours during the day, whereas in pregnancy, the normal urination frequency is every 2 to 3 hours during the day and sometimes even once at night. If you are in your first trimester and you're starting to experience urinary frequency, so that means going to the bathroom more often, it can be due to the sudden increase in HCG hormone. So, it's very possible that your symptoms may subside in your second trimester. So I'm gonna cross my fingers for you. Otherwise, let's get started with my 5 top strategies to reduce bladder frequency in pregnancy. So strategy number 1 is to assess your fluid intake. I know this may seem silly, but you would not believe how many moms-to-be went through my office and were actually overhydrating in pregnancy. And don't get me wrong, right? It is good to stay hydrated and you definitely don't want to be thirsty. But if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're tired of going to the bathroom all the time. So it may be something to look into. Now, how to know if you are drinking enough fluids during pregnancy? The most reliable hint is your urine color. So we want your urine color to be pale yellow. If it is dark, it means you are dehydrated. So in this case, we want to increase the fluid intake. But if it is like water and there is no coloration whatsoever to your urine, it means that you are overhydrating. So that could explain your frequent visits to the bathroom. What I suggest is to just do a test, and cut down on your fluid intake for a week or so and just see how it affects your symptoms. It can be helpful to track how many times you are currently going to the bathroom over a 24-hour period before you make any changes to your fluid intake, and then tracking again after the change to see if it had a positive impact. Strategy number 2 is assess bladder irritants in your diet. So carbonated drinks, for example, spicy and acidic foods, coffee, tea, and artificial sweeteners are considered bladder irritants. So what I would suggest is just to look at that list of bladder irritants and see if one thing stands out for you, something that you may consume every day. And now try to eliminate this food from your diet for 2 weeks to observe the impact on your bladder frequency. For example, I work with clients who started having bladder frequency issues after buying a fizzy water maker in pregnancy, and they had never made that connection until we discussed that carbonated drinks can be bladder irritants. And once they stopped drinking fizzy water, their bladder frequency went back to normal. When you do an elimination diet, you really need to be strategic and systematic about it, tracking symptoms before and after the change and making sure you only eliminate one food at a time. Now, if your symptoms do not change after eliminating the food item that you thought may be a contributor to your symptoms, you can simply reintroduce it knowing that it does not affect your bladder. So don't worry, like a lot of people are like, oh my God, I need to eliminate coffee. But if after eliminating coffee, like your symptoms have not changed, then there is no need for you to eliminate it because we've just proven that it doesn't make any difference. Strategy number 3 is use a maternity belt. This tip is more so for women who are later in their second or third trimesters when baby is bigger and their weight really starts pushing that bladder down. So that can definitely increase your bladder frequency. So in that case, supporting your belly bump with a maternity belt can be tried in the hope that baby is not going to hang out on your bladder as much once it is supported by the belt. I have reviewed a few maternity belt options and I will link my video in the description below if you're interested in watching it. Strategy number 4 is stop drinking 2 hours prior to bed. So this one is for the mamas who get up multiple times at night to go pee and lose sleep over it. A lot of the time, this can be fixed by stopping any fluid intake 2 hours prior to bed. But I'm thirsty at night, Sophie, you'll tell me. So if that's the case, it is often caused by one of the following scenarios. Number 1, you're not drinking enough during the day, so you're trying to catch up at night and you're feeling thirsty at night. Number 2 is you're eating too much salty or sweet food for dinner, so that makes you thirsty later at night. Or number 3 is you're eating dinner within 2 hours of your bedtime and you're drinking at the same time. So depending on which scenario you're falling into, you can try and 1, hydrate more during the day so you don't feel as thirsty at night, eat less salty and sweet foods for dinner, or try and have dinner earlier in the evening so you can stop drinking 2 hours prior to bed. And strategy number 5 is don't go just in case. So this is a bad habit that many people have, pregnant or not pregnant, is to empty their bladder preventatively before they even got the signal to go. And this is a really bad habit because your bladder can become smaller over time as you do this because you're never kind of stretching it to its full capacity. So I really encourage you to just wait for your bladder to tell you when you need to go. Sometimes just getting rid of those few just in case pees during the days and working toward making sure your bladder is full before going to the bathroom can make a world of a difference in your overall frequency to visit the bathroom. Also, make sure you take the time to fully empty your bladder when you go. It may require a few extra seconds and maybe a little bit of back and forth rocking with your body because when you're pregnant, sometimes the bladder is being squished in many different ways when you're peeing and you need to kind of change your body position to make sure you empty it properly. But that could make a difference as well in your urinary frequency. If you have developed this habit of going just in case because you're worried about leaking urine, I would suggest to watch my video about bladder leakage strategies during pregnancy and address that first. Don't forget to grab my free prenatal book in the description below if you want to be proactive in preparing your pelvic floor for an empowering, positive birth experience. And on that note, I'll see you later in another one of my videos. Thanks for watching.